By his spectacular and horrifying death, Yevgeny Prigozhin has taught an important lesson to all those in the West who think that the Ukrainians should be persuaded to do a deal of giving up some land in exchange for peace with Vladimir Putin. And the lesson from Prigozhin is that you must be utterly mad if you think you can do a deal of any kind to protect your own security with Vladimir Putin. Look at what happened to Prigozhin. Read my column in the Daily Mail.
I think we need to be very careful about reading Boris Johnson's column tomorrow in the Daily Mail, not least because I don't think we should be satisfying the Daily Mail owners or confirming that they're right to be employing an ex-Prime Minister at the expense that I suspect he's costing them. But no, I think Boris is also wrong. I think we can do a deal with Putin, and we should do a deal with Putin, and Ukraine should do a deal with Putin, but it should not involve trading any form of land. It should involve Putin withdrawing his troops from Ukraine completely, unilaterally, and finding some way to effect peace. And that probably means recognizing that the war was wrong and accepting the consequences of that. It's not going to be a good deal for Putin, but it is the only deal available. And the only way we're going to get that is by talking, because we're not going to fight Putin into submission. That will never happen. And I think it's important not only that we talk to Putin, however difficult that may be, but that we also talk to Putin's circle, because one of them is going to end up as the next president of Russia when Putin dies. That may be very soon. It may be in 10, 15 years' time. But it will happen, and we need to be ready for that. And maintaining this absurdity of not talking to Russia is a madness and a folly and setting up further problems in the future. I'm afraid I don't agree with personal sanctions at all. I'm not a great fan of economic sanctions. I think they only hurt the poor. And I know enough people across Russia to know how difficult it is in Russia today. And most of the people across Russia are good people. The fight in Ukraine is not something that they want to do. And yet, the propaganda that they receive day after day tells them that this is for the security of their country. It's not true. And we have the techniques and we have the skills to challenge that propaganda across Russia, and we haven't done so. And we should. And we should. I think that's a more important fight that we in the West can take than even supplying Mr. Zelensky with weapons. But of course, if Mr. Zelensky wants weapons, we must supply them. The other battle that we are failing, and that we are losing at the moment, is the battle for Africa. Africa sees France as having raided its territory. Africa sees Britain as a colonial power. Africa looks to Russia and to China as countries that are offering them money, offering them help. And we, in turn, are furiously biting the bit of the issue about migration. That is how we see Africa. Or we're offering a particularly pernicious government in Rwanda money to do our dirty work. We are still acting like a colonial power, although we have no colonies, although we have no power. We do have influence, we should be using it, and we do have skills, and we should be using them. We're using neither.